County woman still recovering from multiple gunshot wounds is fed up with the court system. Ashley West and her husband James were victims of a shooting nearly 5 years ago near Phillipsburg. Francis Watson joins us now with a look at the case and why they feel that justice will never be served. Francis.
Yeah, that's right, Rob. In fact, Becky Stalder is accused of nearly killing the couple. She was supposed to be sentenced tomorrow, but her attorney tells me that he asked for a continuance while he handles another trial. Stalder is pleaded guilty, or rather an Alford plea of guilty this past summer, and the victims say waiting for justice has become just as painful as the crime itself.
I feel like maybe if we would have died, then she would already be locked up. She would already, would have got justice.
In November 2019, Ashley and James West were getting off I-44 near Phillipsburg when what seemed to be a minor fender bender turned into the couple fighting for their lives. Ashley told Laclede County deputies another vehicle hit hers from behind twice, pushing her car into a guardrail. When she got out, she said someone wearing a wig started shooting at them. She was hit 5 times, James 8 times.
We didn't expect that to be the person that was doing it. Had no idea, why, she would want us dead.
Authorities say Becky Stalder, James West's ex-mother-in-law, admitted to the shooting and was charged with 4 counts of felony assault. They say child custody was the motivating factor behind it all. After being tied up in the courts for years, Stalder was supposed to be sentenced on November 5th, but that hearing has been delayed.
It's something I live with every day. I have to deal with it every day. And so does my husband. It has affected us a lot. It's affected our children. They worry about us dying. Lots of unnecessary pain.
Ashley says she's frustrated with yet another delay in the judicial process and hopes that Stalder stays locked up for a long time.
I feel like she should at least get 25 years, and she should have no option of parole. Because if someone that's going to do such an extreme thing like she did, that they would do it again. I mean, you made that choice once, you'll make that choice again.
Now, as of today, the sentencing hearing for Becky Stalder has not been scheduled. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Francis Watson. Rob?